Hey, welcome to Post 21. Starships are closer than you think. So we've got the hull of a starship. So how do we get it to move? The answer for now is a combination of nuclear-powered ion plasma systems for sustained thrust, large-scale solar sails, which would be useful during various parts of the flight, whose efficacy would be greatly increased by spread-spectrum lasers that you drop off on platforms behind the ship as it moves, out of the solar wind. But where does the big kick in the butt come from? 1950 science fiction. You would weld or form a large-shaped iron chamber at the back of your vessel, and then you'd set off controlled nuclear explosions, the so-called Orion system. In essence, you'd surf the leading edge of the shock wave. Early in the flight, you could even get a large boost of velocity by dropping into the sun's gravitational well and slingshotting out. You may even be able to get a second slingshot around Jupiter on your way out of the solar system. This combination of drive methods would be designed to get you to about a quarter light speed or so. That's less than 15 years to Alpha Centauri. Now what about gravity? If you put your living and working spaces near the outer shell, but deep enough to avoid radiation and micrometeorite impacts, you could get about a half a G by spinning the ship around its major axis. You would need about 1.5 revolutions per minute, or a point velocity of 100 miles an hour. That would give you about half a gravity. That's enough to sustain health. And of course you get a bit more from the constant thrust iron drive. As for fuel, water, and extra oxygen, they're all common source. You grab a small water ice comet from the Kuiper Belt and attach it to the surface of the asteroid. And yes, you'd also have massive internal tanking. So that brings us to food. That would be grown hydroponically or in a series of greenhouse areas. Meat would come from cell culture growth, another technology which is very close to full maturation. And what do we have? A ship, hull, power, gravity, propulsion, life support. In other words, a functional spacecraft that could make an interstellar voyage. As for crew, people would be lining up to volunteer, risks be damned. You know, that might be humanity's greatest attribute, the desire to know what's out there, to know what's beyond the next horizon. Okay, so stay safe, be well, and find some joy in your day. Until next week, this is Avi G. I'm out. Oh, and by the way, I hope you enjoyed this 3-part series. We'll be doing something a little different next week. Take care. Bye.